keep it real with ya. Real hot girl shit.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is B Stevens, and it's been a while since I did a video, you guys. I know I'm all over the place, but that's just my life, all over the place. It is the year 2021, so happy new year to everyone. Hopefully this year is definitely way better than last year. But I'm not gonna do too much talking. By the title, you guys can see that I'm going to be taking down my weave. Now, this weave is not old at all, so it's just been in a do rag, so it's not old at all. I just put it in last weekend. What was it, last Friday? No, last Saturday. It was my son's birthday. He turned 1 January 18th, and I needed to do my hair, so I put in his hair. This is Eunice's hair, and I put it in, but this hair was so freaking rushed, it was ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, and I did leave out, left out my hair. So yes, this is my hair at the top, as you guys can see. But yeah, so I did it so freaking quickly, and here we are a week later. I haven't really did anything, so well, actually I've been busy, so I haven't been able to, like, I've been going to work and stuff like that, but like far as anything else I haven't really did like too important, obviously, because we're quarantining. So I haven't had to just take it down right away, but now that it's the weekend, I'm like, I got a little bit of time, so let me go ahead and take this down and redo it. Like, it looks cool. The hair is good, obviously, as you can see. The hair is good. I've only applied heat to it one time, and that was last weekend. It was Saturday, the day that I did it. That was the only time I applied heat to the hair, and it's rained and everything else, so as you guys can see. And I have, what is it, 16, 18, 20? That's what I have. We just supposed to get into this video. I don't think I got a comb. Do I have a comb in here? Let me go get a comb. I'm just going to braid off my leave out so it's not in the way. That's all I'm gonna do. So yeah, just a little disclaimer, I am not a professional. No, I am not encouraging people to go out and do this. This is just how I do it. If you don't have the money, and you know what I'm saying, you just need to do what you need to do. This is one way that you can do it. It has never damaged my hair. I used to do this all the time, so it is what it is. Now, I already have a raggedy shirt on, but I'm still gonna put this like gown on. Do I want to? We're gonna see. Just so that way, like, when I put the oil on, I don't have to worry about it just falling all over the place. So I get cooking oil. So I just got a big thing of vegetable oil. I got this from Walmart, as well as olive oil. I got this from Walmart. Before I used to just do straight olive oil, but olive oil was expensive, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to use all my olive oil. Okay, so I've already put cooking oil in here because, as you guys can see, the jug is hella big, so I didn't want to be creating no mess, and I'm on carpet right now. So this is cooking oil. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil, and olive oil is, see, look, it's already starting. Olive oil is good for your hair. That's why I'm mixing it with olive oil. But yeah, I just, you know, do what you gotta do. So you're also gonna need gloves, a stocking cap, a comb, but that's like after the fact when you want to comb the glue out and stuff. But for now, just gonna screw this on, and I'm gonna mix them up. And you want to get a bottle like this that has a tip, so that way you can get in between your tracks, so you can get it everywhere. My head itches. So I'm just gonna put my gloves on because I really don't want my hands to be hella messy. I don't want all the oil and stuff all over my hands. But yeah, all I do is like I did, brush it out and whatnot. And I'm actually gonna wash this hair and I'm gonna re-put this hair back in, but I just need to get the proper stuff this time. And then also, like I said, I'm also gonna put the closure on this time because yeah, I just need my hair to look cool because I don't want to have to touch it anymore this time around. The oil on, and you just want to basically, like, almost like you greasing your scalp. You just want to put it everywhere. You want to make sure that you put it on the tracks because yeah, you want to put it on the tracks, on the glue, should I say, but the glue is on the tracks. So you want to just make sure you do that, so that way the tracks can just start sliding through. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like, when I was younger, I didn't even used to do this. Like, I used to just snatch my tracks out. Like, it was like I used to just snatch it out, and that's definitely not okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to snatch your edges and stuff out. Like, you don't want to pull all that stuff out. So make sure you just get them all up on the tracks. Like I said, over your whole head. Just get up in there, almost like you're greasing your scalp. And I'm just running the bottle through and just massaging it through. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that it's actually getting in there. So that way, with the heat from your body and with the oil, it's going to help loosen up that glue for you. It's not going to break the glue up. It's going to loosen the glue from your hair and stuff, and it's going to allow it to slide right on out. And while we doing this, you know, how have you guys' New Year's been? Mine was pretty cool. I didn't really do anything. I pretty much slept. I had wine. I had put my son to sleep. I didn't do no countdown. I didn't do none of that. I was just, you know what I'm saying, in my own mode, in my own vibe. It was just me and him at home. That's all we did really for New Year's. Like, I literally was just not in the spirit like that. And plus, you know, it's obvious, like, because of COVID and stuff. Like, who wants to, you know, I'm not jeopardizing my health, his health, for a few hours of fun. It's not that serious. I've celebrated plenty of New Year's. Hopefully there's more New Year's for me to come. So it's like, you can miss a year. So yeah. Yeah, and then my son just turned 1, like I said, January 18th. So I just had a small birthday party with just like family, no friends, only family at my house, my intermediate family. And then his dad came as well. And we just had like a small little get together here at my house. SpongeBob thing. My son is getting so big. He's talking, he's walking, he's playing, getting into every damn thing. You know, he just doing his thing. Like, he's very intelligent, very smart, especially because he was a preemie, which I know, you guys, I have not posted him. And I know I was like, oh, I'm gonna document all this and that or whatever. But once I went to the hospital, went to the hospital for my what was it called? I had stress test. I went to the doctors for my stress test. I was like 36 weeks and like a day or two. And I went for my stress test. When I was in there, my blood pressure was high. So they were like, you know, which was crazy because it was high, but it was also the day when I went to my doctor's appointment, it was the day after I stopped taking my progesterone pills, which was keeping me from having him. Because if you watch my older videos, you know that my cervix was opening at 20 weeks. So I'm just massaging it in, you guys. So yeah, my cervix was opening at 20 weeks. So to keep him in, they put me on progesterone pills, and then I was also on bed rest. So yeah, I went in. That was like my last day of work for me to go on maternity leave. It was crazy. But so basically they told me my blood pressure was high. They elevated my feet. They gave me a lot of water. Like, there was just so much that they did. And then after my stress test, it was supposed to be my doctor's appointment. So because my doctor was there, she was like literally across the hall. They went to her. They're like, we've taken her blood pressure like 3-4 times, and they're all showing the same reading, basically the same readings. Like, do you want to admit her? What do you want to do? So I'm like, okay. So she's like, okay, let me go talk to her. So she came where I was at, and she came and talked to me, and she was like, you know, your blood pressure is really, really high. We're concerned about you having preeclampsia. You know, we wanted to test your urine. They tested my urine. My urine was fine. I didn't have any protein in the urine. But she was like, we just want to admit you just to be on the safe side. So I'm like, okay, cool. So they literally was like, you're not going to be walking over there. I had to go to labor and delivery. They put me in a wheelchair, and they wheeled me over to labor and delivery. They had me do another urine sample again. They put me in triage. They hooked me up to an IV. And look, as you guys see, look at that. They're just sliding out now. So yeah, they put me in triage. When I did, then they hooked me up to the IV, which was a headache in itself because they couldn't get my vein, like they couldn't find a vein. So eventually they ended up having to settle for putting my IV in the crease of my arm, which was not fun at all. But they couldn't find the IV. So it took 3 people, and one of them was like an anesthesiologist. He was the one who was like, okay, we're just gonna put it in the crease of your arm. But yeah, like they tried so many different things, did so many stuff, all kind of different stuff. It wasn't working. And once they did that, they went on ahead and said that they were gonna admit me. So I said, okay, fine. You know, I called my family and stuff. But then I was like, okay, well, just hold on. Let's see how everything goes, you know, whatever. So when I was there, they, see, here's the net. I told you guys I did a net. There it go. So yeah, while I was there, my blood pressure, the whole point was for me to get my blood pressure under control. It wasn't me to deliver, because I was only 36 weeks and like a day or 2. So they were like, you know, it was all strictly for my blood pressure. So I was in there for a day. They were playing with my dosages, you know, trying to figure out which, what they were going to put me on. So finally, they ended up doing one. I forgot the name of it. Hold on, I have the pills. Okay. So they originally prescribed me labetalol, something, whatever the hell that name is. They originally prescribed me that, and I was supposed to take 2 pills. But when the doctor, because there was so many doctors that came in, the doctor who's prescribed my medicine to me to take home, she did the wrong dosage. So it was, instead of it saying take 2 pills every 12 hours, it was telling me to take 1 pill every 12 hours. So they sent me home with the wrong dosage amount. So they were like, if you have any kind of headache or anything, to call us and this and that and stuff, because we may have you come back in, this and that, you know, whatever. So when I went home with a headache. I left the hospital with a headache, and I told them I had one. They was like, oh, that's normal. So they was like, if it get worse, then let us know. So, okay. Went home with a headache, got home, went straight to sleep, slept. What happened? yeah, I slept. Then the next day they had me come in again to do the stress test again, with the new dosage. So I said, okay. So I went in again. So when I went in, my blood pressure was up. So same thing. They're like, we're going to send you back to labor and delivery, and we are going to have you admitted. So I'm like, okay. So when that happened, because I already seen that my dosage, they told me what my dosage was going to be. So when I got home and I seen the dosage on the pill bottle, I'm like, that, like, I don't know if that was right. Like, I think they made a mistake. And so because I know I was going back in the next day, it was like, why call and all that and stuff when I'm going in the next day. So when I went in and when they said it was up high again, my doctor came out again, and she said, and I told her, I said, well, this is what they put on my bottle, but when I was in the room, the doctor said that I need to be taking this much. I said, it's like, what, you know, which, like, is that right? And she was like, let me check, let me see. And then they had went out, they did some stuff, and then came back in and said, you are right. They put the wrong dosage amount on your pill bottle when they prescribed it to you. And I said, I knew something, you know, I kind of figured that. So this time they're trying to lower my blood pressure again. It's not lowering. Then they ended up doing, outside of the labetalol, they ended up giving me nifedipine. And now they're mixing the two together. And now they're playing with the dosage again, because it's, my blood pressure is steady going up. But yet none of the times that I peed was there protein in my urine. And so basically they did that, but at that point it was just so much going on. My blood pressure, I had been in the hospital for like 2 days. I'm like, at this point, just induce me, like, you know what I'm saying, like, just take him out. Like, it's not lowering. There's, you know what I'm saying, they're like, my body is stressed out from pregnancy, this and that. So here's the cap, you guys. So, you know, here's my hair. Everything is out. Now look how fast that was. Like, it's only been 24 minutes on my camera, and that's just with mistakes and stuff too. Now y'all see how quick I was able to remove my hair. Oh, my hair is itching. Feels so good to be able to scratch it. But yeah, so yeah, what was I saying? I'm a lost train of thought. So yeah, so they were playing with the dosages, and I'm like, just take him out. Like, I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired of being pregnant already. Like, y'all saying that, you know, he's a good size, so if he was to be born, he would be, for the most part, okay, this and that. So at first they were like, no, we just want to check, we gotta wait for the doctor, you know, we gotta see what the doctor says, this and that. And I'm just putting more oil in my hair just to help with the grease. So when I take my braids down and it's time for me to comb it, the glue will slide right out, just like the tracks did. But yeah, so I'm like, can y'all just take him out? Like, this is becoming too much. I've been in the hospital for hella days now. Like, come on. And so finally they were like, the doctor was like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and induce you. So I'm like, okay, cool. They're gonna induce me. I'm about to have my baby. So they induced me. They gave me the first pill. They gave me the pill. And then, like, my blood pressure, they gave me the pill. Then after that, they ended up they broke my water, and they ended up giving me some epidural. Now, all throughout the night, it would be like, 1 minute my blood pressure will go down and everything will be cool. Then the next minute my blood pressure was back up again. Then it'll go down and it'll be cool. Then it'll go back up again. So then finally, at one point, it was like 4 in the morning. I was sleeping. My mom was up. She had seen everything. I didn't know shit. But at one point they just all like 5 nurses come rushing into the to my room. They're like, turn this way, turn that way, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My baby, his heart rate has started to drop. So when that happened, you know, they coded me and was like, we have to do emergency C-section because we can't get your baby's heart rate on the monitor. Like, we can get it, but it's going down. Like, it's not staying up and it's not staying consistent. So we need to get him out now. So I ended up getting reeled in to do emergency C-section. But the problem with that is my IV was increasing my arm. So if you've gotten an epidural, then you know that the epidural, the way it works is whichever side you're laying on. So I could only lay on the opposite side of where my IV was because it would hurt for me to do it. But at the same time, I also couldn't lay on that side because they came in so often to take my blood pressure that it was making it uncomfortable. You know, I had to keep turning and this and that. It was just so much going on. They had to take my blood pressure on one arm. The IV was on the other arm. They can only take my blood pressure on one arm because of the IV being there. So yeah, so when they rushed me in to get the C-section, only one side of my body was numb because the side that my IV was on, I couldn't lay on that side. So the bed blew up. While I was in it, in the surgery room, I mean, in the whatever, yeah, the surgery room, whatever, they blew, like it aired, like the air, it was just like, it blew up like an air bed. Hella quick. It had me elevated. They literally, the whole bed turned and had me turned to the side that my IV was on to get it to work. So they said, he asking me like, do you feel it? Do you feel it? Like, do you feel this pinch? Do you feel this? And I'm like, I feel this. Like, whatever y'all pinching, I can feel it. So then they were like, okay, well, we're gonna put her to sleep. I'm like, yeah, just put me to sleep because like, this ain't working and y'all need to get him out. So finally they were like, we're gonna ask you one more time. And they asked me one more time and was like, do you feel this? And I didn't feel it the last time. And as soon as I said no, they just started cutting. And I had my mom in there with me, so she was there through the whole process or whatever. And he came out, he was crying, he was healthy. You know, he had a little bit of breathing problems, so he did have to go to the NICU for a couple days, for 3 days. Was it 3 days? Maybe about 2 days, because they put him on a breathing machine, but like 30 minutes later, he snatched it off, and they were like, well, doctor, he doesn't really want it, so do we have to keep him on there? And the doctor was like, no, as long as he's doing good, he's fine. Hold on. I'm gonna comb my hair out with the big comb before I comb it with the small comb. But yeah, so they're like, oh, as long as he's fine and he's not having any troubles breathing, he's okay. And they never had to put it back in. He was fine. He was born 5 pounds 6.9 ounces. So, like, he was a tiny little thing. Like, I had all newborn stuff, but because he was so small, I had to have my mom go to the store, go to Walmart. Luckily, it was, like, right up the street from the hospital. I had her go to Walmart and go get me all newborn stuff. Like, I needed newborn clothes for him to have while we was there. So, yeah, we did that. Yeah. I stayed in the hospital a total of 8 days. That was with me going in and out with my blood pressure, to after having him. It was a total of 8 days. And he ended up having a little bit of jaundice. The last day I was there was when they said he had the jaundice. And they were trying to get me to stay a whole nother day. And I said, no, I'm not staying another day. This is, I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to be in my own bed. So my insurance covered for me to have the Billy blanket mailed to my house. So the day that I went home, the Billy blanket came, which was like, and it came at like 8 o'clock at night. Like, so I was happy. that they were able to deliver that late. But Apria Health, I think it was through, they went on, yeah, they came, they delivered it. He was on it. I had to have him on it for 2 days, and then after that he was good. Went back to the doctors, got his blood checked, and he had to get his blood checked both days. Like I had to get, came home, did the blanket, went the next day to the doctors, got his blood checked. Said, you know, the things came back that it had went down, but it was still a little high, so they wanted me to do another day. So I did another day, then had to go back to the doctors again the next day to get his blood checked again. And then when they checked it again the last time, they said he was fine and that he didn't have to use it anymore. So I took him off of it. So yeah, like basically that was like my whole labor and delivery, which is why I wasn't able to blog it, record anything, because it was just so much going on, and I was just so over it and so tired and so frustrated that I was not thinking about picking up no camera. I wasn't thinking about nothing. Like I was just going through the ringer, and plus I didn't have nobody there with me because I was on maternity leave, and where I delivered, it was an hour away from where I lived, and you know, everybody else, they had to work. So I was in there by myself during the week. Luckily I had him on a Saturday, so when Friday came, that's when my family came to the hospital. They came Friday after work, and everybody was in there with me at that point. And it just so happened I ended up having him Saturday. No, actually I had him Friday night. It was like Friday night, Saturday morning, because I had him at like midnight. No, I had him at 4 or 5 in the morning. So, but I had him real, but it was Saturday morning. So I had him, you know, not too long after they came. So they came, perfect timing. So yeah, that was my whole labor and delivery. Like, it was not the best experience, I would say. Like, situation and how everything was done. Like, you know how some people be like, oh my God, it was so easy and this and that. Like, I didn't have it wasn't hard for me. It wasn't bad for me as far as pain wise, because I really didn't feel no pain, because before I even started having contractions or anything, I already had the epidural. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that part was cool. But as far as like the blood, like my blood pressure part, all that was the worst. And it was crazy because I only gained 10 pounds my whole pregnancy. My whole pregnancy was only 10 pounds. And it's like, well, if you think about it, my son came out almost 6 pounds. And then you got to think about the water and the sack and all that. Like, I was all belly. Like, I basically didn't gain no weight. All my weight came from me being pregnant. So I can say I'm blessed with that. Which is blessed, but at the same time it's weird, because it's like, well, how did my blood pressure go up? It wasn't like I gained hella weight, but it's just that, yeah, this pregnancy didn't, like, it had my body stressed, honestly. But then after that, my blood pressure has been cool. Like, I haven't had any issues or anything since then. After having him, they was able to take me off the IVs, everything. They wasn't coming in as often. They wasn't checking me as often no more, because everything pretty much normalized and settled down at the once I had him. So it's just like, well, isn't that just grand? So I guess that was just him, like, you know what, it's my time. I'm not trying to be up in here any longer. But I have been saying, I was like, I don't think I'm going to go full term. I don't think I'm going to make it all the way to 40 weeks because of how low he was. He was really, really low. Like, just walking around Walmart, or walking like from the car, or even just walking around the house. If I walked too much, like, I literally would get like lightning crotch. You know, like, it felt like little lightning bolts in my little coop, like down there. Like, it really did. And I used to just be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I really can't do nothing without feeling some type of sharp pains and stuff. It wasn't pains that hurt, but they were noticeably, they were very noticeable. Like, I was able to notice that they were happening and was able to say, like, okay, every time I do this, these come and this is happening. Like, what the hell? So it was just crazy. Now, as far as my hair, you guys see this? So I'm able to easily get this out. Also, when I do my weaves, I don't put a ton of glue. Like, some people, it just seems like they just have a ton of glob, like they just put a whole bottle of glue on their hair. I don't do that. I put, you know, I line the track, I put enough glue on the track, but at the same time, I don't like overfill it. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to put hella glue. Like, I'll show you. Like, if you look at my track, you can barely tell that there's glue on there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't cover, like, you be having some people that be having like glue all over the hair and stuff because they put so much glue. So when they do it, it's like all running and all that and stuff. As you can see, you can barely tell that there's glue on my tracks. So that's why it's also easy for me to take it out and for me to do it this way. And why I'm able to easily comb it out and stuff and all that, because I don't glob, like I said, I don't glob it on there. So, and that's what you definitely need to do. If you're doing your own hair and you putting in your own weaves and stuff, you want to make sure that you're not just globbing it and slopping it on there just sloppily. So yeah, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and take down the rest of this hair and just do the same old process. And I'm gonna let this oil sit on it for a little while longer, maybe about 30 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hair out.